Many photographers ask me if a photo I have shown is made by the 50mm, and the reason they question is it doesn't always look like that, and we will dig into that. And another myth, that this lens should be boring. It is not boring, only if you use it in a boring way. Sorry to provoke you, but that is about this in this video, how you make a 50mm lens look interesting, or rather, not the lens, the pictures you take with it. Often people think some of my pictures have been made with a 35mm and not a 50mm lens. It is simply because I make the lens work for me. I move around, I step back, I go closer to the subject, I make the picture breathe, I take in the environment, I open up the aperture if I need it, I can even close it down, but I include the environment. I don't go too close, I step away, and I let everything be in the picture as if it was at 35mm. I think about my position, the angle of the camera, and how I look at things, and I use the light to my advantage, and that's how pictures can look like they were shot with a 35mm but with a simple 50mm lens, because I use it to the full extent. I wait for the right moment and I let the pictures breathe. They feel open and full of context, and it's all about how you use the lens. One of the most misunderstood lenses in photography, I think. Before we get really started, I would like you to notice that I have written a new ebook about light, and you can purchase it on my website, link down below of course. And if you sign up for the newsletter as well, there will be a discount on upcoming workshops that you can use, so you get a little discount when you also book a workshop after you have bought the book. The book is about light, how you use light, how bouncing light works in photography, and there are 139 pages, and coincidentally also the illustrations and photos have a number of 139 for some reason. I hope you will enjoy that book. I have put a lot of effort into making it readable, explainable and easy to understand, and at the same time go deep into how you use light to form photos. Not just how light is coming into the lens and into the sensor, but how you use it creatively. So I hope you will be interested in that ebook. You can download it, just follow the link down below. And when you're signing up for the newsletter, there are two groups, either them who want workshops or them who just want to read the articles and my blog post, and then you can subscribe to both if you have interest in both subjects. When we are talking about the 50mm lens, for some reason people think that it is a boring lens, but it is only boring if you don't use it to the full extent. What it gives me is, it gives me a little distance to my subjects, it narrows in the view a little more than the 35mm, and that suits my kind of photography. And I think you should still watching this video if you don't shoot much 50mm, because some of the thing I talk about here will apply to other lenses as well, but we're talking 35, 43 or 50mm in that area. The biggest mistake I think photographers do when they use a 50mm and don't think it works is that they use it too narrowly. They don't use it in a low position or changing angles, shooting behind things, all of that makes photography interesting. For some it is for some reason easier to adapt to that with a 35 or 28mm lens, because you have to do that to make a picture interesting. You have to use low angles, you have to hide behind corners, you have to use it creatively. But for some reason people forget it when they have a 50. It's some kind of like, okay, this is the so-called normal length, the normal focal range, so I don't have to do something extra. Absolutely, pictures becomes boring. Every picture becomes boring, and it doesn't help you just to put a wide angle lens on to make distortion and low angles to make it interesting. You have to put the same effort into any focal length you use. And what sometimes happens when photographers use a 50mm lens or another focal length for that sake, and they don't think the lens really works because the pictures are not that interesting. I have to be honest, it is not the lens. It doesn't help to change the lens. It have to be the mindset that changes, the way you use and work with the lens. And as usual, I will show you some examples of my work in the video, and all done with a 50mm lens, and in this case the Summilux 50mm 1.4 ASPH. And one thing about lenses and changing lenses, I actually consider changing this lens, and it is not because of the framing, the pictures I do. It is because I think it's maybe a little bit too sharp. Maybe this lens is just a little bit too sharp. Not at the edges and stuff like that. Maybe it's just a little bit too detailed, and you can pull that a little down in Lightroom or Capture One. When you adjust the details in Lightroom, for example, you always have a preset in Lightroom that says, I think the preset is about 40 in detail. So if you take a picture as it was, shot directly at the sensor without altering anything, it will be overly sharp. This means that every little detail, every little hair, which I have none of, almost every little crack in the skin will be visible, and it will be noisy and will be unpleasing and less film-like to look at. So you have to decrease the sharpness at the center of the image, like the softness in the picture at the skin tones, and maybe something about the shirt, and then keep the edges around my glasses, for example, sharp, and make that balance. I'll learn you that on the workshops, how you do that when you sign up for 3 days workshops, because that's a really important thing to master if you want pleasing pictures to look at, because digital pictures as they are simply too noisy and too sharp, because the edges of the pictures are tack sharp if you don't do something about it. And that's where we lose that film-like feeling that most of us like, although we shoot digital. But back to the expression of the 50mm. When you think the picture is boring, it's probably because you're either too not close or not too far away, but standing in the middle of what it should have been, because the 50mm demands you to move either closer up or further away to take in more of the environment in the picture, so it narrows down to like a 35mm framing, not visually because it's two different lenses, but it gives you the same feeling, but just a little bit narrower in image, so you have to step back. You can also walk up closer, and then you get that really tight expression if you want that, instead of using a telephoto lens. I have seen a lot of telephoto street photos recently, and I honestly just think they end up being boring, because it's just close-up pictures of pretty girls that you don't dare to go closer to. And for what sake, what is the story? The story in the 50mm is that you have to move, include what you want, take your picture, and then you get that more natural experience that a more distorted 28mm picture will show you. And another mistake with the 50 can be that it makes some photographers think they should only look at the subject, exactly as when they use a telephoto lens, let's say 90 or 100mm lenses, that they are only concentrating on the main subject and forgetting that there is a surrounding that speaks into the story. And then I have a different way of looking at things through the 50 than a 35 or 28. That gives me a more pleasing, and you can say a more quiet, calm and steady look in my photos than if I used a wide-angle lens with a lot of distortion. So that is the big difference. They look more calm, and maybe that's because the moments I'm seeking are not very dramatic actually. They are more silent. They are maybe a little melancholic in between, maybe a kind of a Nordic style of way of thinking, I don't know. I just don't think on the situations as big dramas. That is at the end just about taste. And put down your comment what you think about this, because then I will ship you a free ebook. I will make a draw between all the comments there are, positive or negative, and you get my free ebook, Casting Shadows, and you can download that and learn a lot about light. So drop your comment below, and let's go further into the subject of the 50mm being a misunderstood lens. The 50mm is often called the normal lens, but that can be a little bit of a dangerous word simply because it can make you think it does do the job itself because it looks normal. It takes a normal view, and I know we have discussed that before. That can go from 35 to 50mm, and some will claim 60, but let's not pixel peek on that. Just say it gives you a more natural and not distorted view, and not like a telephoto view. So that is the behavior of the 50mm. It lies in between all of that, which means the 50mm will not make any decisions for you. You have to use the lens to the best possible to get the best of it. You have to narrow in the environment you want to frame, or you have to widen it up by simply stepping further away or closer up. And then I think the beauty of the 50mm lens is, especially on the Leica here, it can be small. I even want a smaller lens like this. This is a little bit too big and a little bit too sharp. So I am wondering if I should shift to another 50mm lens like this. And sharpness, when we're talking about that, is not only about the pixels, it also how the picture is rendered through the lens. The Summilux here is extremely sharp out at the edges of the image, but do I really need to look at the edges on a picture to see if they are tagged sharp? Do I need that sharpness? You have to ask yourself that before you choose a lens. So when I'm talking about maybe swapping that lens to another 50mm lens at a time, then it's simply because it has an expression that maybe is a little too sharp for me. Maybe I want something a little bit more vintage, a little bit more soft, but I will get back to that at a later video. It's absolutely not the focal length that is bothering me, because I love the 50mm lens for that type of work I'm doing. Often what happens is that the 50mm seems a little too tight, and then you want a 35mm. Then you buy a 35mm and then it's too wide, and then you wonder, should I go back to the 50mm? And that's the choices we have as photographers, but the easy solution on this is simply step 1 or 2 steps closer or further away from what you are taking pictures of, and you have solved most of your problem, unless you really like the 35mm look, or if you like the 50mm look, then keep it and just move. A different lens can change some of what is in the frame, but it cannot change what is chosen to be photographed. That's only your choice. It has nothing to do with the lens. That just shows you with a little bit wider appearance, dragging in a little bit more, even if you step up closer, because there is a difference between a wide angle and a 50mm lens. But at the end, the difference is so little, and I have discussed that at an earlier video, and it was really difficult for most people to see the difference, because it's mostly about how you use the lens. The great thing about 50mm lenses is that they often are a bit cheaper than other lenses, because it is a standard lens in the photography world, and was from the start, because they were the cheapest to produce. Often when a picture I have made with a 50mm lens, and here I'm talking both the amateurs I have on my workshops and professional colleagues I'm surrounded with in my daily work as a photojournalist, they speak up and ask, is this really a 50mm picture you have taken here? And yes, it is, because I use that lens all the time, but they can't see it, because I use my lens the best possible by having creative angles, looking at my subjects, looking at how I frame it, move around and make interesting angles on the subject, and therefore it is actually more or less hidden that it is a 50mm focal length and not a 35. And the great thing about using the same focal length all the time and not swapping around is that you get used to it, and therefore you don't have to use your time and energy to swap lenses during a day. You just get used and adjusted to that lens by working with it daily for a longer time, and then you have the lens for your life and don't have to change. And this is not a preach about you should only own one lens, because if you like to have different lenses and play with them, that's fine. It's just a speak about it really matters that you know your lens, because then you can use it for its full extent, and not just see it as a normal lens that can also sound like a boring lens, because it isn't. It is only about how it is used. I can keep the spacious and roomy feeling in my pictures by treating it as it was a 35mm, just as a little longer distance from my main subject. If they should happen in front of me, I will capture them, of course, but my way of thinking with street photography is more like a subtle way, undertoned way of telling the story. And with a 50, that can easily be boring if you're only standing up at your normal height without thinking about changing the angle, the height of the level of the camera, and the angle towards the subject or the scene you want to capture. So if you don't move around, if you just stay right up, right close, then it may end up being a boring lens, because it doesn't give you that extra dimension that a 35 or 28mm lens will do, where they distort more and include more. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it and will limit yourself to a lens for some time, or join one of my workshops and buy the ebook about catching shadows, which have a lot to do with light and how you use that, and that's also about how you move around with your camera, and doesn't matter what lens you use. So read that, join a workshop, and practice all of that knowledge. I'll be happy to see you out there. Thank you for watching.